Hey everyone, welcome back to Adventures of Me. Where have I been? I've been wanting to make a video for a while, and unfortunately, I've said a few times I've been building a new house, and the room where I've been recording has, kind of been the boxing ground. So I haven't actually sat down to do anything for a while. I did some painting, touching up, adding a bit of the abandoned black to some of the figures from the last video that I did. It took me quite a while to get there, but I've caught up with everything in the magazine, and in the process I now have, I think, another 20 magazines. I've got issue 17 here. The last lot that I managed to collect. Got like issue 25 down there, I can see. It's been some time. So what I'm thinking is, let's open up issue 17, have a bit of a look. Might get a little bit on camera assembly and painting. I don't know. I'm thinking it's more so going to be that I have a look at the magazine, I'm going to paint them off camera, and we'll come back and have a look at the end result, and I might get like a snapshot or update in between everything. I just don't really have the room to do the two cameras and recording non-stop at the moment. This camera that I'm currently recording off is sitting on top of a coffee machine box, and another box, but I don't know what's inside it. It's like books or something. So yeah, kinda a little bit stuck here. But I'm not gonna let that hold me down. I'm going to get into this and we'll see what we've got. Let me just refocus up here. Come on, look at this. Thank you. Okay. So this is issue 17 of the Mortal Realms. Let's get into it. So in issue 17 we actually get some more figures, some more miniatures, which is nice. The last few that we got came with paints and little bits and pieces. This is another 5 figures, and this is the what have we got? Dreadscythe Harridans, I believe is what they're called. So we got the sprue here. Gonna get into some of this. Like I said, probably going to be off camera, and I'll update you in little bits and pieces. We also got another fold out piece here, which is pretty cool, which is about the Forces of Order. Okay, so this kind of goes into a little bit of detail about different forces for good here, by the looks of it, and kind of shows off sort of one of their bigger sort of miniatures for each one, which almost aren't miniatures, but give you a bit of a quick close-up here. So it sort of goes through different ones. We've got corn in the back there, and then so that's a bit of a fold-out one for the binder there. And then in this issue, if we're just going through it quickly, got Dreadscythe Harridans, Warriors, Nighthaunt. So we've got a bit of a description here on those guys. Really cool artwork there. Like a Grim Reaper sort of dude. I don't know if that's focusing or not. Got Stormcast Eternals Part 3, 1000 Storms. So a bit of a story bit there. Talking about those guys. Oh, and this is cool. This has Midnight Tomb Realms. It's got the Ebon Shield, which is like evil versions of the Stormcast here. So I don't know, maybe that's going to be something that we get to see. And then we got the instructions with how to build. So we're doing the Dreadscythe Harridans as 5. So I'll be constructing those. The painting guide, so we're using 4 paints here by the look of it. Corax White, Nihilak Oxide, Cantor Blue, and Abaddon Black. So painting over these dudes, so base coat, put the technical paint over it, dry brush, Cantor Blue, and then Abaddon Black. And in the end, they'll be looking a bit like this, sort of just the blue with black cloaks, or blue cloaks, black hair at the moment, which we're going to add some details to later on. I got the Dreadscythe Menace, so Dreadscythe Menace, which is a battle, which is cool, which, oh, it's got some details here about some of the characters, sorry, Secateurs, Castigators, Dreadscythe Harridans, and Chainwrath Horde that you're going to be using, which is pretty cool. And finishing off here with some Great Wraith Stalkers and the Fawns there. And then 2 issues listed next. Looks like we're getting a large battle mat in issue 18, which will be interesting. Seeing a different battle mat. And then we're getting some more of the Gnome Horde, which is pretty cool. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to work on these models sort of in my own time and sort of update you in processes of how I'm going, just because I can't fit the cameras in here, it's messy, and I don't know at what point I'm going to be moving while recording these by the time that I sort of get it all done. So you'll get to see these done in bits and pieces, and I'll update you sort of when I finish the model, when I finish the paints, as opposed to where I was doing it, where I just kind of fast forwarded through the building, constructing, painting sort of thing. You just won't see that aspect to it. But yeah, so I'll jump to once I've finished constructing the miniatures here. Alright, so I did a bit of a model making last night, and we've got our 5 guys here, all assembled, plus there was an extra portion of a model here, so I'm assuming we're going to be using this later to finish off some of the models that are from the same sort of set. Maybe it came as like a 10 pack in the sort of original box that you'd buy separately. But I'll just bring the camera down, we can have a close-up look here. So, these guys here, looking pretty good, pretty happy with them. I like the one that's got the 4 sort of blades there. Got some more here. Looks like it got paint on it, but it's actually just a reflection of the palette there, the wet palette. Yeah, they're looking alright. So, pretty happy with those. Yeah, they've come along nicely. Next we're gonna sit and paint them. So I think we've got 4 paints to apply to these lot, and then in the next issue, so issue 18, there's paints to then add to like all of the different ghastly, ghostly models. So yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Now you're back over this side. I just cleared out a bit of space so I could do this. Yeah, I just finished painting the 5 guys here. Which I'll show you in just a second. So it was really just applying the usual sort of ethereal glow to the character. Bit of a dry brush, and then we've moved on to painting cloaks and hair for these characters. I believe, just looking at everyone else, there's only one other figure that I have to paint hair on, like as a catching up point, which is this one here from my previous ones. One of the wraiths. That's not going to focus, is it? This one here, I've got to go back and paint the hair on her. But I think all the other miniatures at the moment have cloaks on and no hair showing. So once I do that, all of the other ones will kind of be up to the same standard as of this issue. In the next issue, like I said, we're kind of open for at one time. In the next issue, we are painting on the terrain that we've already started creating, the mausoleum. And then we're working on these dudes, which is sneak peek, already started working through. So these guys, there's 3 of them, they're up to the standard of the ones that I've just painted. So everything at this point, except for one little miniature, is at the exact same stage. And what we then are going to be doing is getting lead belcher and dried bark, and we're going to be starting to detail on weapons and a few other little bits and pieces. So putting on a metallic silvery lead colour, and going through and applying some wooden sort of detail to them. Yeah, it took me a little bit longer to sort of get to this point. I just realised that there's some black spots that aren't really looking that great on one of my figures. And yeah, I had a few different issues. I pointed out in one of my snippets, I had some figures break in shipping or coming out of the magazines. I think it's just because I've got them on the floor and they're all just sort of getting to a point where I don't have space because we're packing, which means the space that I was keeping everything in is now sort of impacted. So it's been a little bit hard to sort of keep up with all that, but we're sort of getting there. The army's actually looking pretty decent all up so far. I mean, it's still lacking a lot of detail, but completely playable and not just, you know, grey figures that have come out of a piece of plastic and snapped together. So we've done something. I still have some Chaos Cultists and some Marines from before I even started this that I just did like a test coat on. Once I'm finished sort of, and I'm, you know, sort of there, I'm actually going to go back and paint them. So it'll be interesting to see sort of once we've finished the magazine and sort of learnt some of the skills to go back and paint those guys as well. But I'm going to give you a bit of a close-up here. So let's have a look. So these are the 5 dudes that we've been working on. Let's get some focus. So we've gotten to the point where we have added the cloth colour and the hair on these figures. And we will be going back and sort of working on details from now on. So it's still almost like in that, still like putting base levels on, base coats and working through it. But I know this is a little bit different to previous videos in this series with the magazines, but like I said, I've just had to kind of deal with it because all the space in the background where I normally sit my tripod on, I've got my tripod next to me. Normally I have it sitting across the table. I just don't have that space anymore, unfortunately. So we just have to deal with what we've got. The table that I'm currently using as like my little painting table on that is actually going to be going into a room which we are converting into a games room. So it'll be good to be able to have something permanent to keep there. I have a TV on here that I need to get rid of because it's got a massive scratch in the screen, and the highest it outputs is 720p, and that sort of impacted my game recording when I was doing that and hoping to get back into, but I couldn't record. But it's sitting on the table that I use for my own painting, so it's taking up, you know, a portion of the table there. I'll be getting more space eventually, so I can't wait to move. Can't come quick enough. The house is like essentially ready to go, but we're just waiting for final details to come through and settlement and all that. So as soon as I can get into a position where I move, I am looking forward to sitting down and painting at a table comfortably, no issues whatsoever. I say that now. we'll see what happens. But hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. If you did, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing. You will see more content coming from me. I know I keep saying that, and I've been on breaks here and there, but I've been really busy with, you know, sort of finalising my move, and I've been very happy with that. That we're getting close, and I can't wait to be able to move into a new house and sort of set up a little bit more of a games room where I can either play games or create, paint, sculpt, whatever I end up doing in the future, sort of in the creative side of things. And also hopefully we'll have a nice place to also record video game content again, setting up my PC that I've been building for sort of like a emulation box on the side as well. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I'll catch you next time.